It's the Andrew Christopher Show. With Andrew Christopher, your host.
What's up?
It's the Andrew Christopher Show.
Oh, here we go, you guys. Decade 2
Really, we call it the AC Show.
of my life. We're going to get into
Yeah,
here.
we really call it the AC Show.
If you didn't catch the last episode, make sure you go check it out.
Really call it the AC Show.
It covered my life from 0 to 10 years old.
It's the AC Show.
And now we're going to get in 10 to 20 years old.
Show with AC, your host.
Check it out. So, before we get started, as you saw, we got the second microphone set up. We do have a guest joining us for family time. That's my stepdaughter, Jaden. Jaden, you going to come in? And so we're going to introduce you to our cats. We've got Benny, right?
This one's Benny.
This one's Benny. Benny and the Jet. I guess his name's just Jet, right?
Yeah.
So how do you tell the difference?
Well, Benny is a brown tabby, and Jet is a black tabby.
Benny's brown.
Yeah.
Jet's black. Makes sense, I guess. I like the names. How did you come up with the names?
Well, Mom made them up.
And it was because of that song, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know which song it is?
Yeah.
Benny and the Jet,
Yeah.
in case anybody else didn't clue into that. So, Jaden, I thought we would just do a couple quick questions. This episode's going to be interesting because the whole house is sick.
Yeah.
So I've got this frog in my throat. You guys have been home bugging me all week. Snow days and now sick days. But Jaden, what's the coolest song out there right now?
Sicko Mode.
Here, you can give me one of those things, I guess. Sicko Mode. Who's that by?
Travis Scott.
Yeah. Did you know he played that?
You can't do that.
Well, I just don't want him that close. I think I'm allergic to them.
You're not.
Sicko Mode, Travis Scott. Yeah. Did you know he played that at the Super Bowl?
No.
Yeah. And everyone was like, who is this guy? But obviously he's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Another question I wanted to ask you. What's the most annoying thing your mother does? Get right on the mic for this one.
Yell at us.
Just yelling? That's it?
Yelling at us.
She does a lot of annoying stuff, doesn't she? You won't get in trouble, I promise.
I don't know.
Uh-oh, I lost one.
I have to go get him.
Yeah, you will after. Okay, what about me? What's the most annoying thing that I do?
Your nose stuff and your medicine.
My nose stuff?
And your medicine.
Well, I take medicine. Everybody's got to take medicine.
Yeah, well, you take these weird drops and all these pills.
Well, it's because I'm getting old. I need to take care of myself.
You're only 32.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, and what about you? What's the most annoying thing that you do?
Weird.
Weird?
Weirdness.
You're weird? You are pretty weird.
Yeah. I
I would agree with that. You know what I think the thing is? It's this shoulder thing. But it's okay. So, do they seem scared down here? One of them's under the bed now. And we're going to have a heck of a time getting them out of here. But you're going to have to go take care of your sister while I do this.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to fight?
No.
You better not. Okay, let's try and get these cats for you. Try and grab that one. And say bye, but you got to wave. Bye. Oh, you should do a dab. Sicko Mode. I still don't know if I've actually heard that song.
I got him.
Okay. Good job, sweetie. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Try and be quiet up there. Okay. There you go. Miss Jaden Lyric, our 10-year-old daughter, and our cats. They are entering the stage of their life where they get annoying. As kittens, they were fine, like I've always said about cats. And now they're drinking out of my water glasses. They're going to start spilling them soon. They're scratching at everything. So might be time to get rid of them. No. I don't think the girls would let me do that. Anyway, we've got quite a bit to get through here. The second decade of my life, ages 10 to 20 years old. If you recall, we left off the summer of grade 4. I asked out my first girlfriend, Samantha. We didn't talk that whole summer. Never kissed, never held hands. Got back to school for grade 5, Mr. Gallimore's class. And through the grapevine, I remember it, we were playing Foursquare out on the playground. Great game, by the way. Y'all remember that, Foursquare? I see the kids playing it nowadays, and they've put some weird spin on it. I don't know what the heck it is. But great game. We were playing Foursquare, and one of my buddies comes up to me, and I'm going to get comfy here because this is going to be a long one. So one of my buddies comes up to me, and he says, hey, Samantha's breaking up with you, or she broke up with you. It's like, well, she didn't really. You're just telling me this. And I just heard it through the grapevine that we were done, and that she was going out with this other guy, Darren. And this is my first breakup. I didn't know how to handle it. So I went back to my classroom, opened up the pencil case, and I broke every single pencil and pencil crayon that I had in there. Just snapped them in half in a fit of rage. I was so heartbroken. I really don't think I cared, but I had to pretend I cared and show the world how upset I was because I'm a pretty emotional guy. My first breakup, that's how it went. And then I had to wait the whole rest of the year because I was too shy to actually confront girls and ask them out. So I waited till the end of grade 5. And I asked out, this is funny. Y'all remember Funny Bobby? I asked out his cousin, Nikki, at the end of grade 5. And she turned me down. She's happily married now. She's got a kid or two. Congratulations. Yeah, grade 5. I got broken up with. I got turned down by the next girl I asked out. And so I took a little time off. Going through grade 6, I don't think I had a girlfriend. I didn't ask anyone out at the end of the year. I was too shook up from the denial from Nikki. But in grade 6, something cool happened. I looked it up around 99 when Wayne Gretzky retired from the NHL. And I was obviously, like I said, a huge hockey fan. I was playing a lot of hockey. And I guess the CBC News asked people to write in their thoughts and feelings on Wayne Gretzky retiring. And so I wrote a letter. It was probably an email. Yeah, I wrote an email just saying, oh, so sad that you're retiring. Gordie Howe played until he was frickin' 75 or whatever, and you can still do it. Keep going. And very heartfelt message, obviously. And they read it on national news. They said, and little Andrew Putt from Agassiz, BC, had this to say about Wayne Gretzky, and they read the whole thing on air. So that was kind of cool. Little 5 seconds of fame or whatever you want to call it. In grade 6. Then I graduated because in Agassiz, you just take kindergarten to grade 6, and then that's elementary school, and then high school is grades 7 to 12. So I was done with elementary school, making the change to the big times, up to AESS high school. So started out grade 7 when we're getting all these different teachers, a lot of different subjects, new kids. The kids from Harrison merged with the kids from Agassiz, from Kent Elementary, and we all met in grade 7. So formed some new friendships. Was playing on the basketball team, of course, still playing hockey, played golf. As a grade 7, I was on the senior golf team because we were that terrible. They were just struggling to find players, and I had taken up golf, I think that summer or the summer before when we were at Camperland, as I mentioned. And I met this guy, Justin Day. He got me into golf. Pretty cool dude. So I had taken up golf, and as a grade 7, playing on the senior team. I remember also, though, I think it was grade 7, when I had my first broken bone. I was rollerblading, and I just hit a rock or something on Wilson Road. Hit a rock and just fell forward and smashed my wrist into the pavement. And I remember I went home, laid on the couch until I think my dad was the first one who got home from work. And I was like, my wrist really hurts, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know what he really said, but I didn't go to the doctor or anything. I went to school the next day, and we had PE. So we were out on the field playing something, football or soccer, and I landed on it again. And I'm pretty sure that's what really broke it. Maybe the fall of rollerblading didn't, maybe cracked it a bit or something. But then I told my teacher, I was like, this really hurts. Started crying my eyes out. Went to the hospital, broken wrist. Got the cast on. Yeah, that was my first broken bone in grade 7. And had another broken wrist later on, probably about grade 10 or something. But really, those are the only 2 broken bones I've had, except for my face. Guy broke my face New Year's Eve one year. Get into that story later too. So grade 7, first broken bone. Another weird thing I remember. And so I thought I'd start doing this little segment about how weird I am as a person, in case there are people out there who think, oh, I'm really weird and I don't think anyone else does this stuff. I'll let you know some of my weird habits or things that I did, so that maybe you feel more normal, because we're all a little messed up. But one of the things I did, because I was very self-conscious about how hairy I was, even as a kid. I had really hairy arms, and I used to trim with scissors, trim my arm hair, so that it wouldn't be as long. Yeah, I thought that was pretty weird. Thought I would share that with you guys in case there's any hairy kids out there listening. Don't worry, man. It's not a big deal. Look at me. I got a hot wife. I'm doing fine. So thought I'd share that with you guys. End of grade 7 is where love life picked up again. Or I guess middle of grade 7. I asked out this girl, Natasha. She was new to the school. And she actually was my first kiss. I remember, and believe it or not, I'm pretty sure it was Bobby during a game of... Bobby was not my first kiss. I don't know if I just led you to believe that. Natasha was my first kiss during a game of Truth or Dare. And I remember Bobby, I'm 90% sure it was Bobby, and he dared us to kiss. And I had never kissed her before, or anyone. But I had to act all cool, like it wasn't a big deal, because she was my girlfriend, so obviously we kissed. So we kissed. I think that was the only time I kissed. And then she broke up with me. All these girls kept breaking my heart. I don't know why. I don't know where it came from. Maybe I was a bad kisser, I guess. But anyway. So there you go. Natasha was another girlfriend. Not very serious. First serious girlfriend I'll get into in a little bit here. But first I want to bring up, this is one of my favorite stories. Would have been grade 8, 13 years old, hanging out with Taylor, my best bud. Him and I were playing hockey together, playing basketball together, doing everything, and I would go over to his house probably 3 or 4 times a week after school. This was on a weekend. We were hanging out, and I don't know why, but I was like, I'm going to get into computer hacking or something like that. And I was on his computer on the internet looking up all these weird sites to try and like hack into. And one of them was the NASA website. I was like, I'm going to hack into NASA and stir some shit up. I have no idea how I would even do that. But so I got onto NASA.com or whatever. And there was a section after my failed attempts at hacking the system. It said you could email your question to NASA. So I did, thinking it was just some random guy or whatever in his basement wanting to answer questions. So I emailed him and I said, Hey, I was just wondering how much firepower it would take to blow up a US satellite because I was thinking of bombing one. And I don't think that was a very good question to ask because the next morning, no, I guess it would have been 2 mornings later, before school, back at home, I very specifically remember eating my cereal at the kitchen table, and my mom answers the phone, and all I hear her say is, no, I don't think my son has any interest in space. And then she says, okay, well, I'll bring him in there right away. And she hangs up the phone. Andrew, what did you do? And I was like, Mom, I sent an email. I was just kidding, blah, blah, blah. And so I had to go to the police station. They wanted to bring me in for questioning to see if I was a threat. So I went in there, talked to the guy, and obviously they knew I was just some dumb kid. So, yeah, and then the cops showed up at our school to talk to like the woodwork class and the metal tech class about making bombs and how, I don't know, well, obviously unsafe it is, and just make sure nothing weird was going on there. So I created quite the buzz around town for a while there, and a bunch of the older kids were laughing, and they were loving that I did that. So one of my favorite stories of high school, anyways. On a bit more serious side, I guess around that same time is when my parents were going through a separation. My dad was like living in Vancouver, working out there. House got all rearranged. I took over sleeping in my parents' room. My mom was at the other end of the house because Michelle had moved out or something. I don't know. It was a really weird, confusing time for me. Because as I said, I was only 13 years old. I didn't really know what was going on. My older sisters knew there was a lot of fighting going on. Nobody was really that happy. And then I remember my dad talking to us and saying he's moving to Australia. So he took off down there, which none of us really understood. I was the most naive to what was going on, I think. My sisters had a lot more strong feelings and opinions. And yeah, shit's gone downhill with my dad since then. Sure, we'll talk about that a bit more later at another time. I don't want to get too heavy on you guys. So that was obviously a big moment in my life. Parents separating, and my mom had to raise the rest of us that were left because I have 3 older sisters. I think it was really myself and Lisa who were still at home. I'm not sure. This will be on errors and omissions next time. Man, I forgot errors and omissions. Let's pause. So, parents are splitting up around 13 years old. Backtrack. Last episode, I said I would do this errors and omissions thing to start, and there's some important ones. And yes, I stole this bit from TSN 1040. So if you're listening, just write me a message. Tell me to stop, and I will, or put me on your show. So last episode, I told the story when I was in England that I fell out of the van, cracked open my head. It was my sister Lisa who pushed me out. She pushed me out of the van. She admitted to it. And I was like, well, did she get grounded or something? And my mom was like, well, your dad was pretty pissed and he laid into her pretty good. I don't know what that means. But anyway, so she pushed me out. I'm pretty sure you guys can hear my kids screaming in the background. But we're just going to run with it. They've been homesick all day. One of them's probably going to barge in here at any moment, and we'll just keep going. That's why the mic's still up. I'll ask them some silly questions. So that was one of the big corrections from last week. Also, my mom said, I can't believe you didn't talk about the cross-Canada trip and where we went. And I said, well, I did talk about it, but the biggest thing was this was my first concert. We drove across Canada and had Canada Day on Parliament Hill, and the concert there was the Bare Naked Ladies and Great Big Sea. So I don't remember much of it, but that was my first concert experience. And also my mom said, and my sister texted me about this one too, my mom did not sell Tupperware. She sold Discovery Toys. So some line of kids' toys. Marble Works, something like that. I don't know if any of you remember that. You'd build this big contraption and put a marble down, and it would spin around and do jumps and all that shit. So, anyways, I did pretty good. Those were the only ones. The one I really wanted to talk about was my sister pushing me out of the van, cracking my head open. So there you go. Anyway, back to decade 2. 13 years old, parents separating. Mom saves the day. She was awesome. Looking back, she did a lot for us. I can't imagine how tough it would have been on her, going through what her and my dad were going through and trying to raise us. Me, a couple of my sisters were not the best kids in the world. They were getting into a bit of trouble. Michelle was trouble. Carolyn was great. Lisa was trouble. I was awesome. One thing I remember, some of my sister Lisa's friends, I think this would have been around then, grade 9-ish. Lisa was hanging out with some guys, maybe not the coolest kids on the block, and then driving fast cars and drinking underage. And this was the first time I heard my mom swear. I remember twice vividly my mom swearing. One comes next decade. One was at about 13 or 14 years old. Lisa was hanging out with these guys, and she was taking me along sometimes as well, and I would have a few beers. I don't think I got drunk. I might have one, maybe two. I guess maybe that gave me a bit of a buzz back then. But I remember we were leaving, and my mom was like, "No, you can't go." And Lisa was like, "Mom, I'm going to see whatever his name was," and she's like, "Well, Andrew, you're not going." And I was like, "Mom, I'm going with Lisa." And my mom said, "Well, just fucking go then." And we just stopped and stared at each other and stared at Mom and like slowly walked out. We didn't know what to do. We were still going, but we never heard my mom swear. For me, anyways, that was the first vivid memory of my mom saying the F word. When my sister was hanging out with these guys, I remember watching, I think it was Canucks playoff hockey back then, and I was trying to show off, obviously, to these older guys, and the Canucks got scored on, and I got up and was so mad and went and punched a hole right in our living room wall, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And the guys were like, "Whoa, dude, that's awesome!" But and they were like, "Just move that picture, and we'll cover it up." So we just moved like a little family picture, hung it up in front of the hole on the wall, and it did not take my mom long to find that out. Again, I think it was the next morning. She was heading out to work, and she said, "What's this picture doing here?" And I guess she took it off and moved it. She was like, "Andrew, what did you do?" And then I got in a bit more trouble there. So I guess I wasn't the perfect angel, but I always did good in school. A lot of teachers liked me. I feel like they liked me half the time, hated me half the time, because again, I was pretty social, talking. I would get my work done, I would do good, but then I would just mess around. I joined high school band. I guess in grade 7, I joined high school band. I was playing trumpet, and then because you weren't allowed to do anything cool in grade 7, you had to do like a classic instrument. So I played trumpet. Then grade 8, I took up drums, and I got a drum set in my house, and I was wailing away. Started playing some of the band concerts. Joined the jazz band, the marching band, but I wasn't a band geek. It was like, I don't know. Actually, one of the questions from Instagram, it was from my friend Kim. Hey, Kim. On a scale of 1 to 10, how cool were you in high school? And I was easily like a 13 or 14. I was the guy. I was the man. I would like to think so anyways. I was kind of more in the middle of the road. Like I was pretty popular because I was a good athlete. I was a good student. And I always tried to make time for some of the lesser cool kids as well, like just to say hi to them or hang out or invite them to play whatever sports we were playing. I tried to do that because, I mean, I've always had kind of a soft heart that way, and I like to think I still do. So I was pretty cool. Scale of 1 to 10, I guess I would probably honestly say 9. Yeah, in grade 12, I was probably a 10. If it was just kind of in ranks of like the different cliques in school, I was definitely with the popular kids if you had to class them that way. But anyway, thanks for the question, Kim. So I did join band class, but I wasn't a band geek because I was the drummer. And I remember we took a couple band trips, one to Victoria, pretty cool, played in the BC Day marching band parade, and I got on TV. And then another one, I think we were going to Edmonton, and me and some of my best buddies, Taylor Roth, Travis Gingrich, Ryan Stigvillis, we were sleeping in a high school, like halfway there or halfway home. And so they had the guys sleeping in the cafeteria. No, the guys were sleeping in the gymnasium. The girls were sleeping in the cafeteria. This would have been grade 10. Yeah, 10, 11. And so we snuck out. Everyone was supposed to be sleeping. Snuck out from the gym, and we made our way around the school, all stealth-like. Snuck into where the girls were sleeping, and started stealing like their bags and their purses and stuff, and brought them back to the gymnasium. I was pretty proud of that, anyways, and got in a bit of trouble from Mr. Gertzen, the band teacher, but it was all in good fun. We were just messing around being kids, right? So there you go. Band geek. I started singing as well. As I mentioned last episode, I started singing in like choir and stuff. And then in the jazz band, maybe it wasn't really a jazz band. I don't know what he called it. But we would do like pretty popular tunes, and I would be drumming and singing, which Dylan will tell you is pretty tough. Not that easy, but I did pretty well at it. Did a few concerts through the band concerts at the school, and was drumming and singing a few songs at the same time. So that was another big step in my musical direction. And then around grade 10, I got my first guitar, which was a gift from, I don't know if this guy was my mom's boyfriend or if they were just kind of chatting or what, but they were both going through separations, and this guy, Eddie, was hanging around a bit, and he offered to buy me a guitar. I was like, sure, dude. He's just sent the money, and so I put it towards my first acoustic guitar. Got that, started strumming along. First song I ever learned, Time of Your Life by Green Day. And just started learning a bunch of cover tunes back then. Started writing a few as well. I don't know if I would remember any of the ones I wrote that long ago. I do remember it was around this time I joined my first band as well. The band name was Argyle. And he was a guy I had known for a while, kind of looked up to. To me, I thought he was pretty cool. His name was James, and he had a couple guys he was jamming with. They were looking for a singer. Guitar players, Chris Petrovics, who was my godparents' son, so my godbrother. Is that a thing? I don't know. He was one of the guitar players. Andre was another guitar player, and then Curtis Crichton was playing bass. So we were jamming. They had written some pretty cool tunes. We did a show at the library in Agassiz. Did a couple shows in Chilliwack, just at like random halls with other indie bands. It was decent. Actually, I remember we did one show out in, I think it was called Stardust, the like roller skating rink in Surrey or somewhere out that way. We did one show there, and I don't know if you guys ever heard those tunes. We did put out a little CD, and I'm going to play a couple for you right now. I think I can do this. The headphones might make it a bit different, but let's see. Give me some slack here. There we go. So the first tune here, called Getaway Driver. I think this was one of our best ones. Won't you be my getaway driver? Get away with the perfect crimes. They'll write books about us later. All you have to do is drive. Getaway Driver, written by Mr. James Kipp, James Fortin, whatever you want to name. I do have permission to share this YouTube, so don't even think about taking them down. Next one is a beautiful love tune. James said this was his $1 million song. I don't know if it's made him that much money yet, but it's called Ida. Slip away in the middle of the night, take cover, take a flight. It'll be hours before they notice, and days before they figure it out. We'll be flying out across this desert, you and me and this scorched earth, giving what we got until it hurts, and taking this life for all that it's worth. And there's no stopping us now. And there's no stopping us now. There you go. Couple hits by my first band, Argyle. We had some fun. But then actually like real band drama happened. And Andre and Chris got like at one of our, we were literally in this like old school garage with the door open. And they got into a little tussle, pushing each other. Some punches were thrown, and that was it. The band was over. So, yeah, my first band experience. I mean, it went on at least a year anyways. We were together, or maybe even 2. So yeah, that took me into grade 12 anyways with those guys. That was cool. But back up to about grade 10, I guess big news, my first serious girlfriend. This was, as I refer to her now, the original Chelsea. We'll get into the sequel in the next decade. But the original Chelsea, we started dating, I think it was grade 10, and first serious girlfriend. Yeah, it was going great. We really enjoyed, I don't know what we enjoyed. I don't remember that much. I got distracted by somebody out there and started talking trash. So I lost my virginity to her. It doesn't have much of a story. It was after school, little afternoon delight, down in her basement. I think it happened very quick, and it happened twice. Yep. The old love machine here. So there you go. I'm not going to get into any more details out of respect for my wife and Chelsea, and the fact that I don't really remember them. But her and I, yeah, we were together, I think 3 or 4 years, kind of on and off a little bit, just because I guess that's the way I do things for some reason. Maybe something to do with my parents and that separation. Some issues there, possibly. So Chelsea, yeah, my high school sweetheart. We were together, yeah, grade 10, 11, 12 anyways. She came to my grad. I went to hers. We'll talk about that later. I also took, I guess in the summertime, in grade 9 or 10 or something, took trips to England again. Went and saw my family. It was my cousin's wedding. I would say that was the first time I got drunk. Cousin's wedding. Got drunk on Malibu and lemonade. Pretty tasty stuff. And then also started working at a bar out there as one of my first jobs. I was pouring pints of John Smith, Tetley's hand pull, for all the clients there. I remember it was like at a club for old people, not like a nightclub, but it was like their country club kind of thing or whatever. My grandpa's club, who he was the president for a while. Anyway, so I would see all the regulars in there, and they would come and play bingo on a Thursday night or whatever it was. Everyone was in there. I feel like they actually did bingo probably like 3 or 4 nights a week because it was just the thing to do. So yeah, a couple more trips to England there, and then back in Canada, I think another time I recall getting drunk at a young age when I shouldn't have. Kids out there, don't drink like Uncle Andrew did, or you'll end up just like me. Stay in school. So we were out at a hockey tournament in Princeton, and one of the dads of one of the players on the team. So we all had hotel rooms, and he had all the kids go to his room, and he was like feeding us beers, and some of the kids were there just pretending to drink or get drunk or whatever, but some of them were pretty serious about it. You could tell it wasn't their first time, and so all these, like, I guess we were, well, 16 would make a grade 11, yeah, it's somewhere around there, and we got drunk and went wandering the streets of Princeton. Ran into some town drunk guy named Bobby Murphy, and we were all bugging him, and he was telling us all these stories. And the next morning, there was kids puking, and the coaches came in and freaking ripped into us pretty hard about what idiots we were. But then we won the next hockey game, and the coaches were like, "Well, I guess we can't say much about that." So those are kind of my two first recollections of having a few too many pops. I wasn't thrown up. I've never been a big morning getting sick guy after drinking. I'm pretty lucky that way anyways. But yeah, and that was awesome. I remember that tournament. It was a good time. We didn't end up winning it, but we did well for the guys we had. So there you go. Moving on, grade 11, let's say we're at now. Down to my first fight. Grade 11, I got some things down here, bit of a badass I was turning into, rebelling, again, maybe because of all the stuff going on at home. I was a pretty emotional guy, needing an outlet, but this was not the reason for that. I don't know why I did this, and Braden, I would like to publicly apologize for my actions on that day. We were at a volleyball game. My buddies were playing. I was just kind of managing the team because I was playing football that year, actually. The first and only year I played football, I was backup quarterback, and we went to the provincial finals. Played at BC Place. Right on. And lost. So I was managing, just like sitting there. I just wanted to be along for the ride with the volleyball team. And it was a home game in Agassiz. My girlfriend at the time, Chelsea, the original, was up in the stands with one of her good friends, and I knew they were friends, Braden. And they were just talking. They were sitting beside each other just talking. And my buddy Graham was like, "Dude, it looks like Braden's hitting on your girlfriend." And I was like, "Whatever, man." And he kept bugging me about it, and he was like, "Dude, you should do something about it." So really, this is Graham's fault. He was egging me on. I didn't want to do it, and then so I was thinking about it the whole time. Chelsea and I started walking home after the game. And I saw Braden and his buddies hanging out at the tennis courts outside the school. So we started walking home, and it was still going through my head. I was like, "Frick, should I do something? Should I do something?" And I was like, "Chelsea, hey, just wait right here. I'll be right back." And I remember just went up to him, gave him a shove in the chest. "So are you hitting on my girlfriend?" Like, oh, I was such an idiot. "You hitting on my girlfriend?" And he was like, "What? No, Andrew, I'm not." Punched him in the stomach. He doubles over in pain, and then I punch him in the face, and I'm like, "Don't hit on my girlfriend," and walk away. I do feel pretty bad about it. I don't know what I was trying to prove, but sorry, bud. If you ever see this, I'm sorry. I owe you one. You come punch me in the face next time you see me. I deserve it. Another grade 11 rebellious moment was on our, I don't know what we called it. It was just like a field trip. You got to choose where you went. Some kids went like skiing in Hemlock. So I couldn't do that because I think we had a game or something that day, so I couldn't be away as late as the ski bus was going. So we ended up going to Hope, me and some friends, like all the basketball guys, I would assume. And went to Hope. We were going ice skating and bowling. And somehow we caught wind that the Hope High School was doing their day out thing as well. and they were at the curling club. So we were just walking around because we had a bit of a break, I think, between skating and bowling. And so me and my buddies were walking around, and we were like, "Hey, we should go say hi to the Hope kids," because there were some we knew from basketball and stuff. A couple girls, I think, that some of the guys were hanging out with, and so we went in there, kind of knocked on the windows, and we're saying hi. And one of the teachers came out and got all mad at us, and he was like, "Get out of here! You know, this is for us only." And so we left, and then one of my buddies, I was always the guy people would say, "Hey, you should do this," and I would do it just so my friends could enjoy it, so I could be the center of attention, whatever the reason it was. So they were like, "Andrew, you should go steal that box of donuts from inside there." And I was like, "That's a great idea. I should totally do that." So keep in mind, this was the start of my modeling career. I had just got my hair done into cornrows. I also had that second broken wrist from playing hockey. So I had a broken wrist cast on my arm. I had cornrows and threw my hood on, went into the curling rink, grabbed the box of donuts, and we just frickin' booked it out of there. And ran into the forest somewhere and had a donut or two, and then dropped the evidence and went back bowling, I guess. But so we thought we got away with it scot-free. How could they know who we were? They didn't know our names or anything. But of course they found it out pretty easily. I think one of the kids there was like, "That was Andrew." And so they ratted us out. We got caught. I was the only one who got suspended. Everyone else just got like a firm talking to, and I got suspended for a day. So Mom was not too pleased about that one. But anyway, back to that. Like I said about center of attention, doing a lot of stupid shit. A couple other quick stories on that. I licked the band room floor from one end to the other. So we're talking like a good 30 feet here. And for $1. Maybe $2. This is what I would do. They'd be like, "Andrew, will you do this for $1?" Heck yeah, I will. It was freaking disgusting. I remember just dust and like dirt and probably people spit all over my tongue. It was so gross. And another one I remember, we were in French class and they had a saxophone reed, a wooden reed. And they were like, "Hey, Andrew, would you eat this for $1?" And I'm like, "Heck yeah, give me that thing." So I ate it. It was so hard because it was wood. And like the reeds are pretty thick at the beginning and then they get skinny. I was chewing on that thing all class, but I got it in me, made my money, and probably went and bought a Sprite. That was my drink of choice because of Kobe Bryant. Segue into the next question I had on Instagram from my buddy Dylan, my Between Sets co-host. He asked, "Where did you get that sick Kobe Bryant jersey?" I probably wore it like 5 days a week back then. And I got it from Sport Check in the Cottonwood Mall in Chilliwack. So there you go, bud. I don't think they sell them anymore, but I'll post a picture right here or there. And if you're just listening, go to my YouTube. So there you go. Thanks for your question, Dylan. Like I said, center of attention, did a lot of gross things to make money and just to make people happy. That's what I do. People pleaser. So that's kind of grade 11. I think I was going to mention some of my first jobs. I know in order which way I did them. Don't know exactly when they were. First jobs, dishwasher at Silvano's. Great restaurant in Agassiz. Used to be a great restaurant. Changed owners. I picked corn for a summer, getting up at like 5 a.m, going and picking corn for Ian Sparks in the corn barns. And then I worked, as I said, at a pub in England, did that. And then my first kind of long-term job, I was at the Harrison Hot Springs Resort and Spa, parking cars and bringing bags up to the room. That job was freaking sweet. Made killer tips. Funny, I guess I'm going to out some people here. No, I won't mention any names, but one of the things that we would do as bellmen, the first guy who was on had to be there at like 7 in the morning. And then the next guy would come in at like 9. So we would all be out together. We were all pretty young crew, partying or whatever the night before. So the 7 a.m. guy had to get in there and open everything up. But then when the 9 a.m. guy came, they would let the 7 a.m. guy go into the room where we kept all the luggage carts. And we would like lay down across these luggage carts and take a nap and get a bit of shut eye before the checkout rush at 11. So yeah, beating the system that way. Sorry if you guys want to get me in trouble. You can't because I don't work there anymore. But yeah, so that was probably my favorite job, first time job anyways. It was a lot of fun just hanging out, watching all the girls walk by, fancy cars and good tips. Like I said, saved up some money, bought my first car, 1996 Honda Civic hatchback. I got the thing all done up. I got the exhaust done, got a cold air intake. Still don't know what it means or anything. Got a pretty good stereo system in it. And then it got stolen. Or did it? Yeah, that one got stolen from when I was at work at the Harrison. I guess that's a bit of karma. I was probably sleeping in the cart room and somebody stole my vehicle at like 7 a.m. I was the first one in there. Yeah. Frick, that sucked. But you live and you learn. Anyway. Moving into, I guess, graduation year, grade 12. Big deal. This was like the height of my high school sports career, obviously. I was getting ready. I had a plan, I think, to go to college, become a teacher, a PE teacher, I think is what I wanted to do. So I was getting all my studies in order. I was a good student. I was on the A honor roll all throughout high school. And again, luckily it came easy to me. I didn't really have to apply myself, got good grades, and just focused on sports really. Like I joined track and field just to get out of school because we would leave at like lunchtime to go to these track meets. That was awesome. All I did was throw javelin, and then I was sitting around in the sun hanging out for the rest of it. I played volleyball in grade 12. Hadn't played volleyball before, but again, I was just a pretty good athlete, so I took it up and played with my buddy Taylor. Played that year of football, like I said. Basketball, we went to provincials. Lost to Pacific Academy again in the second game. So both my senior years, 11 and 12, we finished 5th at provincials. But in grade 12, I made the all-star team, got a cool trophy. And favorite story of grade 12 was it was Halloween, I guess. And again, I won't name the teacher, but it was pouring rain. I only lived like a 10-minute walk from the school at this time. But it was Halloween. Everyone was dressed up. I don't know what I was dressed up as, but I was like, "Hey, Miss So and So, can I get a ride home?" First strike. I don't think they're really supposed to give kids rides home, but anyway, she was like, "Sure, Andrew, come with me." And then I was like, "Oh, we're supposed to dress up today. How come you didn't dress up?" And she's like, "I did." And I was like, "What are you supposed to be?" She's like, "I'm a 36-year-old virgin." And I was like, "What do I do? Does this lady want to sleep with me? I don't know what to do right now." Probably thought about it, but I just got a ride home, got out. It's like, "See ya." It was pretty funny. Another story about this lady. One of my other good friends growing up was Scott, and he was a pretty good hockey player. Like he played junior or whatever. And we were in our career planning course at school. And she was like, "Okay, you guys, we need to talk about what a goal you have, what profession you want to work towards." And Scott said his was hockey. And she was like, "Scott, come on, we need something realistic." And he's like, "I do. I want to be a hockey player. I'm going to be a hockey player." And she's like, "Scott, you can't be a hockey player. If you were going to be a hockey player, you would have done something by now. Pick something else." And I stood up and I started yelling at her. I don't know what came over me. I was like, "You can't say that to him. If he wants to be a hockey player, he can be a hockey player." And she sent me to the office, got in a bit more trouble. But I was just standing up for the guy. I think I was right. Can't crush a kid's dreams like that. But I mean, Scott never made it. He's doing okay now though too. Married, kids, like everybody. We're all doing good. So there you go. Graduation year. I made it. Graduated. Our grad song was "Time of Your Life" by Green Day. Like I said, the first song I learned how to play on guitar. So nice, kind of how it came full circle there. And I walked down the aisle with my mom at my graduation. I didn't have anyone else to walk with, or I don't know why, but I just asked my mom, and so she did that. So that was pretty nice. I got Athlete of the Year, shared with Taylor that year. Like I said, we did everything. We were both Basketball Player of the Year. And, small school, so pretty much him and I won most of those. Yeah, graduated. That summer, I think I was just working at the hotel, saving up money. 17 years old, turned 18, and then it's time to go to college. So I went to the University College of the Fraser Valley, which is now the University of the Fraser Valley. Back then, it was not a full flight university. I tried out for the basketball team. They said, "Dude, you're pretty good. You're like a dime a dozen, 5'9.5" point guard. We've got lots of you. Maybe you could go play somewhere else, but there's not a spot on this team for you." So I didn't make it. My buddy Taylor made it as a red shirt. Props to him. So next I was like, I'll go try out for the golf team. And I made it, as I talked about with Chris back in episode 2. Go check that one out. So I made the golf team, had a lot of fun there. Wasn't great in school, man. College was another, you had to apply yourself if you wanted to do good in college. And I still was not. I just expected to get by on my natural talents or whatever you would call it. And it didn't work out as great. So I was making it by just to play on the golf team pretty much. By this time, the original Chelsea and I had split up. Yeah. Off and on, as I said. But this was getting towards the end of us. And then Chelsea, the sequel, entered back into my life. Old family friend. So we'll talk more about her because this is Lily Jean's mom, my daughter, who passed away. I'm sure most of you know. We'll talk a lot about her in the next decade. So Chelsea was there playing on the soccer team, and so her and I kind of started chatting again. We didn't start dating for another year or so after that, but I was on the golf team. She was playing soccer, so the athletes kind of all got together for different things. The golf guys were kind of bottom of the totem pole. Not as low as the rowers, I don't think. There was a rowing team. I think we were cooler than them in most people's eyes. But anyway, so yeah, that's when the sequel entered my life again. Also during that first year of college, so first year of college, I was 18, playing on the golf team. It was awesome. We finished 5th at nationals, not just provincials, 5th at nationals. That was pretty good. Or was it? Maybe I seem to remember getting a medal, but you wouldn't get a medal for 5th. Probably got a medal at provincials, and then 5th at nationals. Not bad. Took a trip to Vegas, as I talked about with Chris as well. If you want more on my illustrious golf career, just check out episode 2 anyways. So then that summer again, I think I just worked. Came back for another year of college. Did not make the golf team. Back up a little bit here. That summer was my 19th birthday. That's what I missed. See, I'm trying to get through this, but yeah, got it there. 19th birthday with my alcoholic sister, Michelle. So in hindsight, maybe I shouldn't have gone out with her. We're going to have her on the podcast. My sister, Michelle, one of the strongest, most incredible people I know, who's beaten her addictions or is beating them as we speak. She's been clean and sober for 5-ish years now. But back then it was not a pretty sight. She took me out for my 19th birthday. I remember starting on my own. in Agassiz. It was 11 a.m. The liquor stores opened up. I went and bought my first case of beer legally, 12-pack of Pilsner, and I had one with my bowl of cereal, which was always my breakfast of choice. Pretty much lived on cereal back then. So, 19th birthday, did that. Ended up at major leagues. Only kind of real memory I have, or 2 shots I did, were the Rocky Mountain Bear Fucker and 649 or something, which is just like the 6th bottle, the 9th bottle, and the 4th bottle, something like that. So yeah, Michelle did a good job, get me drunk, had a good time. Don't remember much else of that, but yeah, 19th birthday. So I probably partied pretty hard through that summer, as long as working at the hotel, I'm pretty sure. Also, just before that, actually, it was in my first year of college. I'm sorry, babe. She hates when I bounce around. You're going too back and forth, but this is stressful here, okay? So, first year at college, I remember in my second Honda Civic racing home to go watch the Canucks play against Detroit. I think it was their season opener. It was really rainy. I was on the S curves between Chilliwack and Agassiz. Pretty sketchy spot there. Hit a big puddle, started hydroplaning. It was like a bad crash. Like I'm going $110, $120. And I'd go into the ditch, roll the car completely, and somehow come out of it like unscathed. Like I was fine. So that was pretty lucky. That was first year of college. So that car was written off for a while. Actually got it fixed. It took the guy a while because he was kind of just doing it on the side as a favor to me, but eventually got it fixed and back on the road. Also during that first year of college, I joined the Facebook because one of the basketball players, who, you know how I was talking about that totem pole, golfers, rowers down here, volleyball players, soccer players, basketball players were the pinnacle. And Ed LaFergie, he was one of the stars of the team back then. And I remember he was in the computer lab and he was like, dude, do you have Facebook? And I was like, no. And he was like, you should get it. So I got it. First year of college, I had that written down. 2006, I joined Facebook. What else we got here? Sorry. What does that even say? My writing is so bad. Do you guys want to see this? Jaden was in here and she was like, how does anybody read that? Did you write like that in school? And I was like, yes, I did. And I don't know how anyone reads it. But anyway. So, summertime, 19th birthday, back for another year of college. Tried out for the golf team, and Chris had to cut me. So I did not play golf. I played hockey. They had started up a hockey club. That was a lot of fun. Like a club team. So it wasn't an actual university team, but it was a club team, and that was a good time. Loved the hockey. Then another big car crash because I didn't learn my lesson. This time it was even worse, and I was even more stupid because I had been drinking. Me and my buddy Sipple were out at a volleyball. Adam Sipple, who I talked about owning Innovative Fitness in Langley, he played on the university volleyball team. And we were at a volleyball party, and again, in this Civic that had just gotten fixed up from my other crash. And we were ripping home down the back roads in Langley, and somewhere around Glover Road came to an end. And Sipple just yelled, "Stop sign." And I hammered on the brakes, pulled the e-brake, but we freaking hit the cement barricade doing probably like 70 or 80 head on. Again, luckily, both of us got out of it. Not a scratch on us. And so I think I've learned my lesson. But, man, yeah, that was a bad one. We somehow got out of it. I just got a ticket for reckless driving or whatever. Got the cabbie to drive us home. And we didn't have any money for the cab driver. So we just frickin' took off running. Man, we were assholes. And then I remember getting back to his apartment, and I just sat there stuffing my face with pizza pops because I was so worried about what was going to happen. Adam Sipple and Taylor had this cool place like right by the college. I would crash there a lot of the time and just kind of buy him groceries or beer. We had some good times at that place, though. One of the funnest things we did was we would play hide and go seek in our cars around the town of Abbotsford. We would just drive somewhere, park, and then we would text the other guys clues. So there was 2 cars out there. We would text them clues, and they had to come find us. Maybe it doesn't sound as fun as it was, but we had a good time. Again, probably having a few beers. Not the drivers, though, because we learned our lesson. So anyway, second year of college, again, not doing great. Ended up, like, I would start signing up for 4 classes. I would end up dropping out of 2 of them. I just couldn't figure it out. So that summer, I took a trip with my sister, the summer of '07. I went with my sister Carolyn, who had been to Romania a couple times, working at orphanages over there or working at summer camps. She had a big heart just for going and helping out the kids over there, especially the disabled youth who were really put in a bad spot by their government over there. They didn't have much funding to help them get the resources they needed. So she was big into helping that community, and she thought it would be good for me to come along. So I went to Romania for a full summer and worked at this camp. It was awesome. Met a lot of really cool people. It was tough with the language barrier, but I picked up a bit of Romanian. Some of them spoke English, and otherwise it was just a lot of this, like go there, or do this, or do you want to eat? I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. After Romania, on my way back home to Canada, I kind of stopped in England to see some of my family, and that's where I first started busking. So I had my guitar with me. I had learned Wonderwall, Time of Your Life, and 3 a.m., I think. And so I would just play those 3 songs over and over and over. I think I was a bit better than that. I probably had 15 or 20 tunes. But I went out onto the streets of England, and I was like, wow, I'm actually making some money. This is kind of cool. So I did that for a good 3 or 4 weeks anyways before heading back to Canada. Went back to Canada. At that time, it would have been September-ish. I got a job putting siding on houses, and it was raining a lot, and it was getting cold. This was my first kind of like 9-to-5 job. I'm not a big manual labor guy, as I'm sure a lot of you know. But so I put my time in there, saved up a bit of money, and then I was like, peace out, I'm going to Australia. Where, as I said, my dad was. We had kind of started mending fences by then. Again, I think because I was a bit naive to everything that really happened and went on. But I was trying to also just forgive, give him another chance, get him back in my life a bit. So I went down to Australia and was busking, mostly around Melbourne where my dad was. Saved up money until I could go on little trips. I eventually went to New Zealand, where my dad's originally from, so I had some family out there. But I went to New Zealand with my guitar again, busking around, hitchhiked from the South Island with some guy. This is so weird. I just remembered this. He was dressed as Gandalf. So I was hitchhiking, trying to get to the North Island. You need to take a ferry. So on the South Island, just outside of Wellington, I guess. And this guy pulls over and it's like, yeah, need a ride? And he was dressed in like a wizard robe, this old like 60-year-old guy. I was like, okay, let's do it. And so he picked me up, gave me a ride to this ferry terminal. We didn't get there in time, so we had to stay at a hostel that night. But I was so broke, I couldn't afford to pay for the hostel. So I slept in like the common room. I pretended like I was going to check in and just went and sat down and watched TV. It was like 2 a.m. and they would come in and I was sleeping in there and they were like, oh, you got to go to your room. And I was like, oh, I'm just watching TV. And I would wake up and pretend to watch TV and caught the ferry the next day. Then got to the North Island of New Zealand and I was busking and I met a girl named Serena, my next serious relationship. She was a bit older. I would have been 20 at the time, 19, 20. And she was almost 30. I think she was 29, turning 30. But she had a car. And I was like, okay, we're going to do this. I was making my way north to Auckland because I had some family up there, and then that's where I was going to fly back to Australia. So we, got in her car, toured around. I don't know how or when, but she became my girlfriend. And we then from Auckland flew to Cairns, or something like this. And, or maybe we went our separate ways and then met up in Cairns after I saved up some money. We ended up in Cairns together and drove a bus all the way down the east coast of Australia. It was cool. She was a bit crazy. I wish it was my wife, Jamie. I wish we had done that instead. It would have been a lot more fun. Nonetheless, I did have a great time. I saw a lot of really cool places. Like so much. It was great. I'd love to do it again. So I saw a bit of the world in that year. That was around Christmas time. So Australia, and that was Christmas and New Year's. And funny New Year's story. I got kicked out of the same bar like 3 times. New Year's, I drank a 2.6 of scotch before I even left to go to this bar. Got to the bar, like 10 minutes in, I got kicked out. And then I think I took like my shirt off, changed my shirt or something, got back in. Then the guy who kicked me out recognized me, kicked me out again. I spent the rest of the night trying to sneak in and climbed over a wall. Even some kids had like a firecracker, and I think I threw it over the fence to distract everybody. And then I jumped over the other side of the fence and got back in the bar. But I was so drunk, I barely even remember it. That was my New Year's in New Zealand with Carrie. You remember that, Carrie? Good times. So did my traveling, got home. I would have got home sometime in May, and I had grown this badass beard. There's going to be a picture of it. If you go to my YouTube channel, it's right there or there. I don't know where I'm going to be able to put it, but isn't that a freaking sick beard? So I had this beard, got back, joined all my buddies at this golf tournament. Someone in the newspaper snapped a picture, and they called me the singing garden gnome because I had my guitar after the golf tournament. We were rocking out. And there you go. The rest of that summer, kind of getting to the end here. See if I forgot anything. Yeah, brought Serena home with me. She lived with my mom, and it didn't work out. But we'll get into more of that next episode. So there you go. We'll talk about that next decade because I'm already 20 now. So 10 to 20 is done. Next episode, you'll hear more about the breakup with Serena, the sequel, Chelsea the sequel. Obviously, you'll hear about Lily Jean. You'll hear about my amazing wife, Jamie, and my whole new family. But it'll start with me joining Pardon My Striptease, one of Chilliwack's local rock legends. I'm stoked to tell you guys about that. So stay tuned, subscribe. If you have any questions, send them my way. Share this video. Thank you so much for checking it out. Thank you to my future sponsors. If you want to get in on that, just send me a message. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I'm having kind of a good time. It's tougher than you think to talk this long about yourself and get the timelines all matched up. But nonetheless, if you're enjoying it, I'll keep doing it. I'm going to leave you with another Parliament of Owls tune. That's my original group. If you dig it, you can check it out. Spotify or iTunes, all that good stuff. So until next time, enjoy what you're doing and enjoy it hard.
From my point of view.
Peace out.
Whew. No sugar, no spice, not everything's nice, and that's the truth. You're gonna lose, you're gonna laugh, Lord knows I have. And in the aftermath, you may find there's nothing left. I can rely on, I can get high on this beach. I can dive in the water, get dried by the sun on this beach. survive on nothing but my ties this whole week. And I could not care less if I ever get off of this beach. Tomorrow morning comes, everybody